What do you get when you cross a non-exploitation film and a Nightmare on Elm Street? You get a little film called Night Wars. Night Wars is a 1988 action horror film from director David A. Pryor. The movie begins with a somewhat overlong intro with a cat walking across a Casio. Right away, the production value leaps off the screen. In Vietnam, a bunch of guys are wearing the same outfit and holding some Americans prisoner. This is all part of Jim Lowry having a Nam flashback. Inside a hut, McGregor's torturing Lowry and some other soldiers. He seems to be channeling Samurai Cop.
Run!
Well, this seems bad, but at least he isn't making them watch glitter. Trent tries to get him to stop, but that only leads to him being on the receiving end of a hot poker. McGregor was a US soldier, but became a mercenary and turned on his platoon. These guys are trying really hard to out-overact each other.
Because up to now I've been real nice. Don't make me get nasty.
Jim's all out of booze, so he figures now's the time to end it. We cut to the prisoner escape already in progress. They take some guns and shoot up the bad guys. Today I learned that Wicker is bulletproof. Jim goes to rescue Johnny. Hey guys, little help? Sorry buddy, you're not from our platoon. McGregor sees them rescuing Johnny and shoots him in the back. Hey Jim, I think that gun's about as far as it's gonna go. Jim doesn't want to leave him, but Trent pulls him away as the bad guys drag him back to camp. He can't go through with it, so he makes a phone call.
It's Jim on the phone.
What time is it?
5 a.m.
Sure is bright outside for 5 a.m. Trent takes the call and Jim wants to meet him. I'm sure it's not going anywhere, but I'd still feel nervous sitting behind that tank.
I like this place.
I can drink my warm beer here in the morning and no one hassles me. Jim tells Trent about the nightmares he's been having and how they're more real than ever. Trent and Suzanne are looking to get a new car and run into the real villain of the movie. This guy.
Why, you sly devil, you. I can see that you're a man who really knows his automobiles. No, sir, you can't tell me it's just coincidence that you folks came in this morning and marched right up to the single finest driving machine on my lot.
No, really.
Why, you sly devil, you. Well, I can see that you're a man who really knows his automobile, and I'm sure it's no coincidence when you walked in here this morning and marched right up to the single finest automobile I have to offer.
Hey, Ford Taurus. If it's good enough for RoboCop, it's good enough for you, am I right? They're driving along when Trent sees Johnny, so he chases after him. He gets the guy to pull over, but it's not Johnny. Now that he's made a gigantic ass of himself, it's time for booze. Suzanne seems to be taking this really well.
Think you might have overreacted just a tiny bit?
He tries to convince her it's no big deal as he pounds another tumbler of whiskey.
Don't drink too much, huh?
Considering this bottle was full a minute ago, I'd say we're well past that. Trent gets a call from Jim telling him he just saw Johnny walking down the street. Trent has another Vietnam nightmare. Either there's a blood moon out tonight or they've stepped into Diablo's lair. The group gets ambushed and 3 Viet Cong soldiers take out about 50 US soldiers. Oh wait, now there's zombies? Trent, Jimmy, and Johnny are the only ones left alive. Trent wakes up. He notices a wound he got in the dream. Okay, Suzanne, we need you to walk out of the kitchen and into the dining room to start talking to Trent.
Good morning, baby. Want some breakfast?
No, I'm not hungry, thanks.
Cut! Why the hell did you close the door? Trent's driving to work. He stops at a light and McGregor shows up out of nowhere. He jumps out of his car and now he's back in Vietnam. He gets his throat cut and wakes up to see it's with him in the real world. Yeah, I'd say that's a good reason to call out sick. He goes home to Suzanne to try to explain what's going on.
Still where?
Vietnam. He's still in Vietnam.
Yeah, hello, mental hospital? I got one for you. Suzanne goes to see Dr. Mike Campbell to explain what's going on. I was wondering what happened to Grizzly Adams. The doctor tells Suzanne Trent's just suffering from repressed guilt, but then she gives him what she found in his car. Trent goes to the bathroom and gets a visit from Johnny. Hey Johnny, could you come back in a few minutes? I got a turtle head peek in here.
Been here 9 years, Sarge. 9 long, hard years.
You've been living in my mirror for 9 years? They talk for a little while longer, then McGregor shows up. Why'd they film this in a sauna? Trent comes back to reality. He just had a tragic flashback to Vietnam. I hope he goes to see a doctor, and oh no. He instead goes to see Jim, who's getting ready for battle.
What the hell's going on, man? What are you doing in fatigues?
We're going tailgating! Woo! Jim tells him he's getting ready for the dreams.
That son of a bitch tries to cut my throat again.
You mean like he did with me? So they've broken the walls of reality to whenever they sleep, a soldier from their past tries to kill them. What should they do?
Drink! I think I need a drink.
Jim thinks that what's going on is that Johnny's still alive in Vietnam and is somehow contacting them in their dreams. Look, just get White Ghost on the horn and have him go rescue Johnny. Maybe call in Red Brown too. Taking a cue from either House or Nightmare on Elm Street 3, they need to go into the dream to bring Johnny back. Since Trent's the sergeant, he decides to go in and do recon before planning a rescue. He tells Jim to keep an eye on him while he's sleeping to make sure he's okay. Mike reads some documents and looks very concerned. Trent goes to sleep and is transported into the forests of Vietnam. He's armed, so I guess it's a good thing he didn't get transported into a sexy dream. Jim's watching over Trent. He's drinking, on edge, sitting next to an army of alarm clocks, holding a loaded Uzi. Nothing good will come from this.
What the hell's going on, man?
Great, he just killed the neighbor. Trent then runs out of ammo. Hey Jim, don't you think this is exactly one of those things you should be waking him up from? Or give him some more ammo, sure.
Dispatch, we got some gunfire in a residential, and there's reports of a crazed Vietnam vet shooting up his apartment. Over.
Trent finds Johnny. He goes to leave, but McGregor knocks him out and ties him up. You can wake him up anytime now, Jim. McGregor overacts some more.
Staying right here with me, Matthew. Forever!
Oh, finally! The two go back to Trent's house. Trent takes all the money he has to go buy some totally legal guns from a guy in a junkyard. The guys buy a small arsenal, and Mike sees the whole thing. Hey guys, maybe don't conduct an illegal arms deal that could be viewed by the street. The guys go back to Jim's place. So, no one called the cops? They go inside, and Mike is waiting for them. Mike tells them he had the finger ID'd, and it's Johnny's, so he thinks they've been holding him prisoner for 10 years. Here's some quality editing here.
A psychological evaluation.
Hey.
Mike pulls a gun and takes them back to the hospital. He gives Trent a shot to knock him out. Now it's Mike's time for booze. He calls Suzanne to tell her everything will be okay.
Thanks, Mike, I know.
She seems awfully chipper with her husband in the hospital, and oh my god! Not Trent then starts to have his way with Suzanne. Please never show this shot again. Mike checks and yep, Trent's still out, so he rushes to save Suzanne. Is this rough sex or a seizure? They totally sped up this footage to make him look like he's going faster. Uh-oh, it's not Trent, but McGregor! Mike arrives just in time to see Suzanne getting killed by a ghost. Oh, ma'am, are you alright? Mike now knows the truth, so he frees Trent. Trent gets Jim, and they go back to his place to get ready. Time for military montage. Armed and ready, it's time for sleep! The guys are back in Vietnam. They run into an ambush. These guys aren't exactly action heroes. They find the camp in, ooh, ominous fog. Jim decides, after everything they've gone through, that he's gonna chicken out. So Trent tackles him to knock some sense into him. They go back to the camp and, oops, there's one of the crew. They look around, but now it's empty. Just then, zombies! With guns! Shoot. Shoot! Why aren't you shooting? McGregor shows up to taunt them. Trent gets away, and Jim gets put on the rack. Trent runs into one of the soldiers, and of course, he knows Kung Fu. If it's a dream and anything can happen, why isn't he shooting lightning or something? McGregor then blows out Jim's kneecap. That's kind of cool, actually. So I guess potentially Jim could bleed out now. Mike wakes up to a message from Jim. Trent rescues Jim. Oh, now how did this guy miss? Mike finds the guys being just a little bit dangerous. They go to get Johnny, but McGregor shoots them. Now Mike's overacting. The guys get Johnny just in time. Or not. McGregor's then coming to finish them off. Mike injects the guys with something. They bust back into reality before McGregor can shoot them with a rocket launcher. McGregor thinks he's won, but Trent left a present for him. Okay, that stunt guy's not even close to being McGregor. The guys are back in reality, but how are they going to explain why their house is full of bullets and Suzanne's dead?
Wake up, Sarge.
Oh, 5 more minutes. Trent wakes up back in the past in Vietnam, where everyone's still alive. He sees McGregor and shoots him. So the guys are now going on their merry way, and that's the end? Is this it? Is this a happy ending? Is this loss? Night Wars was filmed mostly in California in the late 80s. Director David A. Pryor was from Newark, New Jersey, who wrote, produced, and directed dozens of films over his career. While he occasionally would do horror films like Killer Workout, he mostly stuck to action war films like Deadly Prey, Operation Warzone, and Jungle Assault. With the popularity of movies like A Nightmare on Elm Street and Dreamscape, he took that and meshed it with his love of war films for an oddly unique experience. Pryor was a pioneer in the direct-to-video genre and was a co-founder of the company Action International Pictures. His first film was Sledgehammer in 1983, which was the first slasher film to be shot on video. He sadly died in 2015, just a few days after his 59th birthday. Night Wars, like the rest of Pryor's films, is a unique experience. The dialogue's cheesy, the action's all over the place, but there's an undeniable charm and passion that just seeps out of every one of his films. I read a quote a while ago about his filming style, which said, "We're here for a good time, not a long time." After seeing Night Wars again, I got to thinking about the ending. After defeating McGregor in his dreams, the group's back in the past and Trent shoots him. This got me thinking. Earlier, Mike says this.
Don't put me to sleep, Mike. He'll kill me. He'll kill me.
Who will kill you?
McGregor.
You killed McGregor? No.
So, was this what really happened? Did Trent really kill McGregor in the past, and then was haunted by him in the present? Was all this just a never-ending cycle? Was McGregor really the victim in all this, getting revenge for Trent murdering him? I think I might be putting too much thought into this. Besides, the bigger question is if the guys are shooting guns in both their nightmares and in reality, then what's going on with the grenades?
It's a dream, boy. Anything can happen.